What a brilliant circuit to come to for round 4. We started the season at Thermal in California before heading across to Sebring in Florida, then COTA, the Circuit of the Americas. That was a Ferrari Races weekend where we had just the most incredible toys out on track. Now we're at Laguna Seca. Next up, literally 2-3 hours up the road for Sonoma. Then it's Road America to end the American part of the season before we head across to the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya, where Lewis Hamilton won for Ferrari just last weekend. And as a Brit, and as a big fan of Lewis, that is a result which makes me very happy indeed for both him and, of course, for Ferrari. Tony, I say, great circuit to be coming to for weekend number 4.
Yes, this is a very difficult place. It has a little secrets around the lap. Every corner has some details. The big picture is very dirty off the racing line. There's a lot of dirt coming to the track during qualifying and also during the races. Very famous corners, corkscrew, a lot of great final lap racing here in different categories has been done. You can see those images on YouTube and everywhere else. So I did few notes that I would do before coming here if I would be racing on my own. Now on the picture we see the corkscrew. The elevation really doesn't show properly on TV images.
That's a good angle, isn't it? That is a good angle, to be fair.
And then it continues all the way here. So from corkscrew, where you are basically on the top, is all the way downhill. Corkscrew, turn 8, and the next one, also the turn 9, which is very, very difficult place. You need to know the right angle, how to approach the corkscrew, and then once you're on the top, you're already on throttle, and you don't know where the track falls down. So a lot of these corners are with the blind apex, so you just need to know. And luckily in Ferrari Challenge we have many days of practice. The weather hasn't been perfect, but still drivers are excited going to qualifying, and obviously they know what to expect.
Yeah, there was a little bit of drizzle certainly towards the end of practice week. There is Casa Ferrari, which is on the outside of turn 3. We were later in the season here at Laguna Seca last year. And that was actually one of the series was pretty much decided in turn 3 there. That was between Mitchell Green and Jan Bernier. And here is a look at the track. So turn 1 and 2, say Casa on the outside of turn 3. And Tony, it's you know, all fairly quick up the hill. But once you get to corkscrew, say things get really technical.
This track is with a special flow. So you carry often a lot of speed inside to the corner, and not a typical hard braking zone. So you balance between a low brake pressure and just carrying a lot of speed into the corners. And the other areas, turn 1, let's say turn 2, the Andretti hairpin is very difficult as well. You close it very early. You sort of lose the tight line and then come back again. You need a lot of traction, a lot of acceleration from your race car here. And not always the track is flat. Turn 5, the track falls to the inside. So almost like a banking oval style entry, so you can carry a lot of speed into the corner. But if you have a lot of brake pressure, the rear comes over, because at the apex the front suddenly grips more than you expect. So a lot of technical areas here. Turn 6 is very difficult because from there you go up the hill to the corkscrew. So if you are slow in 6, you lose the next straight. Yeah, you lose a lot of lap time there, and that is the place to overtake. If you have a lot of courage and you have good confidence in turn 6, that opens the chance to even overtake in the race to corkscrew.
We've seen some incredible stuff at corkscrew. The famous IndyCar pass, wasn't there, that was there, MotoGP and all sorts of crazy things. It is a brilliant circuit. There's a look in the background at the Californian hills. You can see there's a light breeze in the trees as well. 24 Celsius track temperature. It's a lot more European here in terms of the weather. You know, a lot of the USA at this time of year is very hot indeed. Miami is boiling at the minute. But over here in the coast, Monterey, it's just a little bit cooler. But we still, having spoken to some of the drivers, they say that tyre deg will be a bit of an issue and that they'll need to keep across that during the course of a race. Spoke to Johnny Kaminsky yesterday. We'll have a chat about that as we get qualifying underway. Now, we've got a third member of our team. She's somewhere down there in the pits and the paddock. It's Nina Jade Poole.
Yes, good morning. I am down in a very special pit lane here at Laguna Seca. It's a track famous, like you say, Andrew, for its twists, its turns, its elevation changes, and of course the legendary corkscrew. It is a track that many of our drivers know quite well. And with the current weather conditions, we're not expecting any rain, so we are set for a fast, competitive qualifying session. I must say, like you said, Andrew, we had a word with a few of the drivers yesterday, and they reported the track is quite low grip. Tyre deg is high, like you said. And of course, it is tricky to overtake here. So qualifying is absolutely critical, getting that track position, starting up higher on the grid. But we've not got long now to get going.
Thank you, Nina Jade. Yes, indeed. Cars were out on track, and we're already underway with Trofeo Pirelli AM. So, Pirelli AM category with Hayden Gibson, and everyone on a little bit more warm-up here. Remember, it takes a couple of laps to get your tyres warmed up, and then after that, it's a case of how many laps are they at their absolute optimum for. This is the run up under the big bridge, which is, of course, in the kink, which is over the hill, and then down toward turn one, the left-hander. Pikes Peak hill climb going on this weekend. A good friend of mine, Robin Shute, had an absolutely enormous crash over that crest. Again, it's blind, it's very fast. And luckily, he was building a new car for Pikes Peak this weekend. Another classic motorsport event hit the USA. But this is such a famous track, Tony. And yeah, there are some amazing racetracks in America. I have to say, I've visited so many of them now with Ferrari Challenge, which has been a real privilege. But I do like Laguna Seca. And the drivers, you were speaking to David Beaton yesterday, he was like, this is a proper driver's track. And it's so technical.
Yeah, on the images we see Kevin Gutierrez right now. I saw him this morning in Casa Ferrari, and he was really looking forward to this qualifying. He said now the conditions are very good. Yesterday morning it was raining, and this track is something else in the rain. And I could feel several drivers a little bit more excited than normal going into qualifying. Maybe it's the little fear factor of Laguna Seca as well. You really need to be on it and really determined here. Here is Mitchell Green. Some of our drivers did also participate last weekend at Le Mans.
Le Mans, yeah.
In the Ferrari
You were
Challenge.
there, weren't you?
Yeah, more than 60 cars in total. Jan Bernier, Mitchell Green, Fabian Sperman, and also Lisa Clark. At least some of the names.
Melissa Kozira, I think, was there
Melissa
as well.
was there, good point. And very exciting weekend. I also followed the two races with David in the commentary, so it was exciting to see these cars at Le Mans. And you know what? Once again, these cars were matching the GT3 times.
Really?
Yeah.
Even around Le Mans? And Le Mans is, how long is the lap time there?
Let's say the basic idea is around 4 minutes, but we were down to 3:53, 3:54s,
Wow.
and 200 miles per hour.
Really?
320 kph.
So that's got to be the straight at Le Mans. Obviously, is famously very long. The Mulsanne Straight now split up by several chicanes. But yeah, what a place!
And there was some drama again. Jan Bernier and Mitchell Green found themselves in race 2. Mitchell overshot the turn, let's say turn 2 at the start, took the lead, took the win, and it was given a penalty after the race.
No way.
Yeah, so a little bit mixed feeling about that penalty, or there should have been maybe a little bit more information to Mitchell and his team, and maybe give the place back to Jan Bernier. But they had once again a great race together, and I have all the reasons to believe that these two will find themselves again pace-wise in qualifying and in the race later today.
You're looking at Matthew Diel as he heads up towards the highest point on the circuit. So camera positions are really good here for showing you the elevation. It is always hard on TV to be able to do that completely. But yeah, we've got some good angles to show you, which will give you a decent idea of most people's races, not least this one on board.
Yeah, here we are riding through turn 1, which is flat, full throttle, and then the braking downhill here into turn 2. Double apex, close early, leave a little bit of space. Oh, he's very tight here, and you just need a maximum acceleration here towards turn 3. On the left-hand side, you can say hi to your friends at Casa Ferrari.
Yeah.
Carry the momentum, carry the speed, don't drop the wheel. Same thing here. That's little touch on the brake, and then back on power early. Hit the inside curb, hit the outside curb, and don't drop the wheel.
This is Hayden Gibson you're riding on board with. Here we go into the left-hander. This is the one with the camera on the inside that Tony mentioned earlier on. And Tony, you just trail the brake.
And here is wider now. You can use more track. This wasn't here before, so you can use more track at the exit.
All up, and it's the old thing of gravity again, isn't it? When you're against it, it's easy. You can brake late, and the gravity will help you. When you're going downhill, not so easy.
Yeah, that elevation change or those camber changes or banked corners, they change the balance of the car. So driver, is not only about the setup. You need to also realize what you do with the brake and everything.
Oh, damage to the rear there.
Yeah, Martin Burrows.
So Burrows, there's no damage on the wing of the car, the fender. So I guess maybe
Yeah, rear splitter on the right-hand side.
Unless it wasn't firmly attached, but I think that's highly unlikely. Maybe just clip the outside, or there's the sausage curbs on the inside as well. If you cut a corner too much,
yeah, maybe.
There's potential that it could have sat on one of the sausage curbs on the
look
exit.
at this.
What a shot. There's an idea of how steep it is.
Here you carry a lot of speed in, leave the throttle a little bit, and as soon as you feel that the car is turning in, you are back on power again. And this downhill section, you can really use the track limits. Or let's say there's a natural track limits with the dirt and gravel, but you need to really use the track from right to left and carry the momentum all the way towards the exit of the last corner, where you again need a good acceleration for the main straight.
So Mathez at the minute is at the top of the 123.4, then Hopkins, Green, Porter, Gutierrez, Bernier. But we are early in the session. Sessions this year a couple of minutes longer than they were last year.
And also when we mentioned for the race that there's a high tire degradation, so the tires are used a lot during the race, but the same thing for qualifying. When you're in the right temperature, you basically have a little bit less time for the optimum, for the ideal lap time from the tires. If you are taking a slow approach that you need several laps, you probably lose a little bit on the tires when you are ready to post a lap time. So feel the tires and post a fast lap time early in the session.
We should expect the top drivers to do that, although they haven't had it all their own way as well. So speaking to Kaminsky, who we'll see later, who's the leader of Trofeo Pirelli at the minute, had a chat with him in Casa Ferrari yesterday. I said, how's it going? He said, actually it's been quite tough. So they lost the one day to drizzle. They didn't want to risk the car, but also they felt that the data wasn't useful because the forecast was dry for the weekend. So they didn't want to run in that, and they've had to play a lot with dampers, ride height and everything to get the car to work. I said, well, what's changed? Because you were here last year, you know, with the car and the settings on the car, but just, yeah, completely different set of circumstances.
Yeah, this sounds very familiar to come here. So for no reason, it's called WeatherTech. So you had some weather.
Yes. Yeah.
And you also need to adapt the temperatures and the character of the track here. So
it's Mitchell Green. Oi, oi.
Full send.
Oh, he's done brilliantly
God.
there. To keep that out of the wall is epic.
This is a place where you can gain a lot of lap time, being on the edge, being on the limit. But Mitchell just had too much speed going into turn 6.
So Mitchell got in touch with me recently. One of the other series I commentate is the FIA Rallycross series, and he's really keen. You know, he owns an F1 car, an F2 car. He's got a GT3 Ferrari. He's got the 499P modified car, and he's like, I want to try a Rallycross car. I was like, no drama, mate. I'll set you up with one of the teams. He's already had a go at Rallycross here in his 296 Challenge car. He did well to keep that out of the wall. He really did.
Yeah, that would have been a big one. Again, the car is quite sideways, so Mitchell is really on the edge. Sometimes here in Laguna, you need to back off a little bit. If you're trying to force the issue too much, you go off the track and you are all over the place. So Mitchell having a lot of aggression in the early on in this qualifying.
But it's also the problem, of course, Tony, is as we discussed it sideways again there for Porter on the exit of the final corner, turn 11. If you don't qualify well here, you're in trouble because it's not the place to get easy passes.
This is a very good point. So we've seen some interesting racing in here, but like you mentioned, overtaking is not easy. And now we see Bernier very special line on the main straight all the way to the right. So almost like sending it for this lap. So he used the maximum of the track on the straight line and then to cut the line all the way on the right-hand side and then have a shorter distance. We see some dirt, some clouds of dirt in front of his car, so cars going off.
And then that brings the dirt back on. And this is the other thing, you know, you could have your perfect lap spoiled because the car in front of you cut the corner or ran wide a bit and dragged some dirt on.
Yeah, this happens often here. And now Jan Bernier is on his flying lap and he's running into a little bit of traffic. Hopefully this goes well for him.
Yeah, Matthew DL just in front of him. We are looking at Hayden Gibson. Hayden's livery reminds me actually of Lewis Flory a little bit. So he comes up over the crest and down towards turn 1. So this is the point where we saw Bernier. He jumped on the brake and the steering at the same moment, and that's very hard for the car because you're asking it to do two things at once.
Yeah, you need to be careful. Obviously, he wants to also have a very late hard braking and also load those front tires to have a better entry for the corner and more control on the front axle. These cars do move a little bit under braking. The balance between a full send with the brake pedal, a little bit of ABS, so the car is moving a little bit. There's also some bumps on the track going into turn 2. So it's a combination of things, and obviously in qualifying you just take that extra boost for everything you've done in practice so far.
DL running in P10 at the minute. It's only 0.7 across the drivers here.
Yeah, it's very tight.
It's tight.
Top 8 in 3/10.
Yeah, I'm in the top 5 in 2/10. I mean, it really is close, but with 2 minutes 56 remaining, yeah, Mathes is sitting on the pole at the minute.
And very surprising timing and scoring. Very surprising results right now.
Yeah, Green and Bernier a long way down, who are the front runners, and really need to get a bit of a wiggle on if they're going to try and
maybe they have the European jet lag still.
Yes, yeah, from being at Le Mans for too long. Now they know how we feel when we come over here. Let me just look down. Yeah, Bernier and Green at the minute are in P1 and 2 in the standings. Matthew DL is down in P10. He's in P3 in the standings. Then Gutierrez P6. So yeah, at the minute, where's Mathes overall?
Yeah, this lap Mitchell Green had a good run through turn 6, and that was a good view of the corkscrew. You're going up the hill and you don't. Bernier is backing off.
So he's maybe going to
cool
have to settle
down lap
for this
and
position.
also trying to find clear track position.
Yeah, tricky.
Mitchell, last 2 corners.
Let's see if he can make an improvement. So Mitchell Green then, who, as we said, is sitting P2 in the standings. He's only 4 points behind Jan Bernier at the moment, comes through the final corner. He could he could get one more lap in here before the checker comes out, but is this going to be enough to move him up over the line?
Yeah, I think he can have 2 more.
2 more, you reckon?
Yeah.
But
timing-wise,
by now the tyres
yeah.
would be,
Yeah,
past
he
their
has
best.
abused those tires a little bit, going off, having the dirt, having to clean the tires. We saw some sideways moves, sideways moments. The rear is moving. That's a misfire.
He's got a misfire as well, yeah, when he comes off the... that looked like on gear shift.
Yeah.
So there is a throttle cut, obviously, when you're going up the gears, but that was popping and banging out the back. He's in full rallycross mode during this qualifying session, isn't he? So Mitchell Green maybe, let's see from the rear here.
Maybe he hit the limiter.
Yeah, true. But it was very visible, wasn't it, compared to what we normally see.
This is Bernier's lap now.
They both stayed out really late here. They know what's on the line here. So your 2 championship front runners sitting in P7 and P8. Bernier.
And also during the lap, they see the predicted lap time. They see how they're progressing with the lap.
On the wheels, so we'll know whether or not he's on one.
Back off again.
I think, is he backed off? I think he has.
Coming to the pit.
So Bernier then, Jan Bernier, your championship leader,
That's a big
has
surprise.
qualified P8 here.
Mitchell!
Mitchell Green's off. So Green's off at the corkscrew. He went straight on. It looks like that's outside the braking zone. We'll take a look at a replay and we can see that. And there's smoke from the car. So we know there was a problem. Mitchell Green climbed from the car. They're going to need to get the extinguishers there as quick as they can. Here he comes. And he's bit the curb maybe on the outside and he's into the tyre barrier.
Yeah, something happened in the braking. He was already off the racing line and he hit the inside curb as well.
So Mitchell Green here with big drama. He's out of the car and looking at it, but it is smoking away. No flames that we can see. So that could be fluids on the exhaust.
Yeah.
That's not getting any worse at the moment. But Green stood by. The marshals.
Obviously red flag, and we need marshals over there just to make sure. Mitchell is fine. He's outside the car.
Yeah, he is.
But he was on it the whole time. He had several moments on different laps, so it wasn't a smooth qualifying for Mitchell Green, but not a smooth qualifying either for Jan Bernier.
No, our championship top 2, as we say, have missed out on those top places. Back in the pits, everybody rolling in. That session won't be restarted, I'm absolutely sure of that, with the red flags out. There we go. What was left? Half a minute? Not enough. Of course, the only problem is if somebody was on a good flying lap, but...
Yeah, but you had plenty of time.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing with extra 3 minutes compared to last year. So, but look at everything looking very Ferrari red, isn't it, down there? It's very cool, I have to say. They do a great job at these events. And you can see Casa Ferrari on the left-hand side of your picture. It is Michael Mathes, the Canadian driver, who's taken the pole. Joe Rubo, 0.125 behind. Then Porter, Hopkins, Gutierrez and Burrows all within 0.2 of a second. Mitchell Green and Jan Bernier P2 and P1 in the standings are in P7 and P8. Matt Deal, who's P3 in the standings, is in P9, and Hayden Gibson qualifying down in P10. So that will be interesting later on because Bernier and Green are going to have to make some passes, and this is not an easy place to make some passes. And before that, a lot of gravel's got to be cleaned out the bottom of Mitchell's car as well.
Yeah, your birthday is bringing Saturday morning drama.
It is. It is. I love a bit of drama.
I hope we stop here, though.
Yeah, it's only, don't worry. Only today. We won't milk it for 2 days. I already milked it yesterday. Nina Jade Paul is down with our pole sitter, Michael Mathes.
Michael, pole position at one of the most technical tracks on the calendar this season. You made it look easy. That's got to feel good.
Well, it feels good, but I don't know that it was that easy. I think there's a lot of close competition. Everybody's just on everybody else's heels. Not much separates top from bottom, and I was fortunate enough to put a lap together and end up on top. So
you've got fast starting cars behind you later on. What's the key to converting this into a win?
Well, it's probably just getting a quick jump at the start and holding position. It's a tough track to pass on, and as long as you can drive it without too many mistakes, I think you can hold your position here.
Well, congratulations. Go well later.
Will do. Thank you.
Very happy with his result, and rightly so. There's a look at the Pirellis. A little bottle of water as well for a post-session drink. I say it's not too hot here, but it is a physical circuit. And now the next car's getting ready to come out in their session. Thumbs up and a wave, and a little look at the steering wheel as well. Brian Cook and his car are good to go. So the Pirellis, of course, specially made for this series. And having done the qualifying session this morning, there's already going to be a bit of wear on them, and then they have to make it work later on today. Johnny Kaminsky did a race simulation earlier on this week, and he said that the last 2 laps were really hard work, but at half race distance, the deg was big. So he thinks maybe it's going to be key to get it done. We've got an onboard actually with Kaminsky, which I think we can take a look at.
Hey guys, it's Johnny Kaminsky racing number 2 Freaky Fast 296 Challenge in Trofeo Pirelli, and here's a lap around Laguna Seca. So rolling down the front straight, flat out in turn 2, setting up for turn 1 for a big extended braking zone at the end of the curbing here. Just wrapping around and looking for a nice clean exit, smooth on the throttle, and immediately setting up for 3. Just down into 3rd, a little bit of late apex, rolling the speed, and smooth on the throttle all the way out. Turn 4 here, kind of same thing, but leaving it in 4th. Getting down to the apex and tracking all the way out. Setting up to go into 5 here, big braking zone underneath the bridge. Down into 4th, wrapping around the curbing, and nice, use all the exit out. 6, a lot of speed rolling here. Down into 4th, getting down into the compression, using all the track out. Going into the corkscrew here, setting all the way up for braking. Hard initial brake, and getting down to the apex, rolling all the way down with the power, and nice and smooth out. Setting up for 9, super quick, getting down to the apex, and immediately setting up here. Then last corner, maximizing all the braking, getting it down into the apex, and looking for a smooth exit. Yeah, that's a lap around Laguna Seca.
Very cool, Tony, to see that. Struck by a couple of things. He's very smooth and he looks very relaxed, but also the patience you need on the throttle on the exit of corkscrew, and how long you're off the throttle for. Was it in rainy or was it in 10? You're really waiting a long time. You come off, it was rainy. Off the throttle for a
little bit both. Here we see Mitchell's car is still there in a gravel trap.
Extinguisher's gone off, maybe, looking at the screen.
Yeah, if Johnny Kaminsky is freaky fast, but also freaky smooth.
Yeah.
Almost like a lap on the simulator. What is very common with the fast drivers is also not a lot of movements on the steering wheel, and your hands are relaxed. Everything seems really controlled and almost under pace, almost that you're going slower than you actually is. Racing line, he was using everything perfectly. Tight line in some of the areas, and also using the track really well. Key areas where he mentioned is carry a lot of speed into the corner, tight racing line, and then use also the exit curb. There was a little movement from the race car, exit of 9, when the car was sort of bottoming or squeezing down with the compression. But this is very typical for Laguna Seca. You can try to fix those things a little bit with the damper setting and so on, but you basically work for tire life, work for a good balance on the race car, and those small areas where the track creates some issues with the balance of the car, you just try to survive on those areas. You need good tire life, reactive race car, but especially a good traction.
Yeah, it is a technical place indeed. We just have a short moment here while they're clearing up the gravel in the runoff area of the corkscrew, where Mitchell Green went off a few moments ago. It's George Grinzovic's third car. George is sitting in P5 in the standings at the minute. You can hear the wind on our camera down in pit lane. That gives you an idea of how breezy it is. A lot less than yesterday. Yesterday was really windy and quite cloudy, actually. I suppose it's similar in terms of cloud cover. Temperatures are definitely up from yesterday. It was cold here yesterday. And there's a good look at the rear of the 296 Challenge car. Another one here as the twin pipes out with either side of the prancing horse. Then you can see the camera in the middle. That is the rear view mirror for the driver. They can't see anything through the back screen there, as you can see with the Scuderia 1999 sticker on the back there. So they have a camera which shows them what happens behind them instead. So no proper rear view mirror. It's a screen down on the dash instead. Massive brakes on these things. It's a proper race car. And then Perina over on the left-hand side. That's Roberto, of course. Massimo not with us this year, having won the standings last year. And Johnny Kaminsky, again, talking to him yesterday, he was saying, what does he do after Ferrari Challenge? I think he's definitely must have his eye on the title, because I don't think he'd move on if he hadn't won the title. Yeah, I think he'll want to win it. So he'll have come in a couple of years and won it if he carries on like he is now.
Yeah, but you don't want to have a too long break either. He needs to get back to racing. I talked this morning with Roberto Perina briefly. He said he loved yesterday morning to drive here under rain.
Oh, really? So he went out?
Yeah, he said he was having a blast and it was awesome. And he was also looking forward to a qualifying. The question mark is the grip level, what to expect in qualifying. But these drivers, with their experience, they feel where the grip is, how is the track, and when is the right moment for the tires as well.
That was Fowler you were looking at from the rear, and the fact he started his engine might mean that they have an idea that we're about to get going. Yeah, they're queuing up at the end of pit lane now. Tony Davis at the front, yeah, back this weekend with the series. Been racing GT3 recently. Kaminsky behind, and away they go. Kaminsky with the yellow rims. I do like good wheel colours. And yeah, Johnny's livery is stand out for me. So he goes down towards the first corner. He'll be looking for a bit of space. Now remember that the tyres are at their peak after a couple of laps when you get the temperature in, but then only for a couple of laps for these drivers. Kaminsky has been exceptional this year at getting the job done in qualifying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6 pole positions. Only missed it last time in the second of the races in Kota. Jeremy Clark there got the pole and the fastest lap. I don't think things went his way, if I remember correctly. There was a big shunt, wasn't there, in the race? Which he was okay, thankfully, because these cars are brilliant. So yeah, basically they want to get the job done well. So he's done 5 out of 6 so far, so you'd have to have your money on Kaminsky, and partly as well because Manny Franco's not here, and Manny Franco is the only other driver who has won a race this year in this category.
Yeah, Manny Franco is a good reference point for Johnny and also the other drivers. Manny has done a lot of racing in IMSA with GT3 cars, so we've seen especially his racecraft. We saw at Thermal the way he was able to come through the field with the tire life, and his experience. Lap times are very different in qualifying compared to the race, but this also points out how you set up the car for the race. So Manny has been there has been a good rivalry between the leading drivers, but also a good reference point for Johnny for now and for his future.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got the feeling, again, talking to him yesterday, what you said about the tyre life and stuff, it's obviously those lessons from this year are going in, and that's That's the point, isn't it, of the four-tiered system here. Shell, Pirelli. Kaminski, yes, came in at the top category because he's already an exceptional driver, but it's a great place to learn. You've got good support from the engineers, good support from the manufacturer, Ferrari, and so these drivers are trying to get everything in a row, get their ducks in a row to make a career in GT racing, right up to the very top, maybe.
Yeah, and there's also good tradition in Kaminski family. His father has been racing for a long time in Ferrari Challenge, and now new kid on the block, Johnny, is here as well. So that's a great way to show how Ferrari Challenge works in the Ferrari family, but also in the racing community here. Johnny Kaminski did an out lap. Now he's on the, let's say, first lap, but still warming up the tires. And there's no point of trying too much when the grip is not yet there, when the tire pressures are not ready, and then you just risk of overheating the surface of the tire when the tire itself is not there. So I'm predicting that this time when he exits the last turn, he's going to be on it and full send, and that's going to be basically the moment to do it. There's a little bit of split between the front and rear tires sometimes. The front heats up a little bit slower than the rear tires, and also depending on racetrack, also some difference between left and right side. So you always need to be sure that all four tires are ready.
I love the patience, though, of the top drivers. You know, where you'll see in the lower categories, people are like, go.
I think he's warming up still.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, it's just wait and don't. And get the because otherwise as well, if they're not quite right, you do half a lap. You've put half a lap on the tyres before you then go and put another lap on. He wants to do one flying lap here and take the pole. Say, without the only person who's beaten him to pole this year was Jeremy Clark, not here. So you'd like to think that Kaminski will fancy himself against the regulars he's been up against all year to get the job done in one go. But that's easier said than done, particularly when the circuit is this technical. Of course, the next circuit as well, Sonoma, that's another place with some elevation change. It's very much a circuit of two halves, Sonoma. The first half of it is really up and down. The second half, effectively down an old runway, a drag strip. Very fast, but very flat.
Yeah, and Sonoma, one of the tracks with the highest degradation on tires that I've ever experienced in my career. But having said that, I think the track was resurfaced some time ago, not a long time ago. So I think that improved a lot. But I would say split in qualifying to a race, it could have been 2 to 4 seconds. Like completely different feeling. And that was a big thing. I raced there a few times, so beautiful track as well. Let's see now, Johnny Kaminski, if this is the lap.
He's gone quickest with the 26.8, but that's still not a fast lap, is it? It was,
yeah, Pirelli Am did 23.4, so...
This should be his first push.
Yeah.
So there might be...
Yeah, 2.5 laps of warm-up.
Yeah,
on the
a
tires.
long way.
It's a very tight line from, I think is it Tony Davis?
Yeah, it's Tony Davis, yeah.
In the entry of turn 2.
You almost like he'd lifted again before the next turn, but apparently not.
Yeah, we have still 9 minutes. We have still 9 minutes on the clock, so plenty of time. Roberto Perina here. Also, he's preparing.
Two goes at the entry there. You can see just 2 moves of the wheel on the way in if you're feeling the grip a bit. Ideally you want 1, but that's easier said than done. So yeah, this will be Perina's first push lap. Let's see. Yeah, no, Kaminski was one of the I think he's running first car on track. Yeah, Perina comes in behind. So Grinzovich at 24.9, but we're still looking at another 1.5 seconds just to get ahead.
Some understeer from Johnny's car in turn 10, sorry.
So they did ride height, they did dampers, but tyre pressures was the biggest thing he said that made the difference. They could get temperature, I think it was in the tread, but not the carcass earlier on in the week, and they were really surprised. He does go quickest with the 1:23.0, so 4/10 up on the Pirelli Am time. I reckon there's more in the tank, so maybe 1 more lap, but I don't think he'll do much more than that if he wants to keep his
the images got into Johnny's lap very late, but turn 10, mid-corner, he was carrying a lot of understeer. He was struggling to get the front bite, to get the grip on the front tires, so hopefully that improves the sequence of next lap or 2.
Onboard here through turn 2 with George Grinzovich the third. He was top of the podium last year in some of the support categories here at Ferrari Challenge. good speed on the exit of 4. Again, 2 attempts at turn-in, and this is Pirelli coming through.
Yeah,
just
he's
behind
closing
Cook.
on Brian Cook.
Let's see as they cross the line, which is just up at the top here. So as they go over, there it is. Cook moves up 1, Pirelli moves up into P2. So Cook into 5th, Pirelli into P2. 2.26 of a second back. Here's Kaminsky at the end of another lap. So this one, I will be surprised if we see 3 from him. But let's see. If he feels it might be under threat, a little bit of wheel spin on the exit of turn 11 and up the hill now. 1:23.0 was his benchmark, and it's not as quick. So
wow.
1:23.1, so he's only a 10th off. So Pirelli's actually pretty close at 1:23.3. We've seen some fair margins for Kaminsky this year. So Pirelli might make his life difficult. Grintovich is doing well at the minute, but there is a big gap at the minute between P2 and P3, some 7/10 of a second. So I'd expect a couple of cars to slot in there. Grintovich goes quicker than Pirelli. So George Grintovich doing a brilliant job here, and he's now within 45 hundredths of a second of Kaminsky. So if I were Grintovich, I might now be considering another lap, but also look at the dust there on the exit of turn 2. If you're Kaminsky, the team have now got a bit of an issue in that they might have to get on the radio and say, he's made a mistake. So Grintovich makes a mistake in turn 3.
And he was purple, and he lost
4 tenths,
he lost 4 tenths with the oversteer, entry oversteer into 3, and
he's
couldn't
backed
go on
off
throttle,
now.
yeah.
So if you look at the dash, look at the steering wheel, you can see it says plus 1.2, 1.4, it's going up steadily.
Yeah.
That's where Tony was saying about him being purple. So that lights up purple or green if you're on a best or a personal best, and because he's now rolled off, you can see the plus number is going up all the time. That is the predicted lap time, which I guess is a mixture of rolling data from the car and GPS and everything as well. Which is very accurate, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a good indication for driver if you take the information in the right way.
Yeah.
Meaning information. It cannot influence your driving too much. You need to still be focused on what you do with the steering wheel and the pedals.
I think I'd get too excited.
Yeah.
You see the green.
Sometimes you need to even cover.
Yeah, ignore it.
Ignore or cover with a piece of tape. You need to take that lap time off. Let's see. This is Johnny's crew here.
Yeah, Brian in the middle, his dad with the beard and the headphones on. He's waiting to see if Kaminsky holds on.
Blues Brothers style with his glasses and everything. Johnny has backed off.
He's backed off too. So with Grintovich's mistake now, I guess it depends whether or not George goes for another lap. So Johnny can either do a cold lap and then go again, or come in. What's your money on?
Yeah, I mean, almost we've seen most of the first 2 qualifying sessions. So surprising is the gap that Johnny has to P2 driver. Also the gap that the Pirelli Am drivers were so close. And also Mitchell Green going off, Jan Bernier. So I think it's a combination of grip level, temperature, and the way the track is. So some of the leading drivers with their crew, engineers, have not been able to finalize a setup that they can really show their potential. So there is a chance of big surprise this weekend, just because of it's a different track and different story this weekend.
Yeah, and I'd say great qualifying for Grintovich. This will be his best qualifying this year, I'm sure of that. I don't think he's been on the front row. Perina's still pushing, and interestingly, you can hear the pop there as well when he's coming off throttle. So maybe there wasn't an issue with Green's car, and it's just where our camera is. We're picking it up more than we normally do. When you see the rear shots, of course, turbocharged engines on these cars, which is why Kaminsky is often a gear higher than I think he would be because the torque is so much.
Whoa!
Oh, and in the wall. Favre, exit of corkscrew, so he's gone round. Looks like he's managed to keep it out the wall because both mirrors are on the car, but maybe a little tap. And I think he'll abort and come into the pits, but let's see. Where is he?
Turn 10.
Yeah. I'm looking at how far.
Yeah, he stays out.
Yeah, so Fowler then going to stay out. Okay, so he wouldn't, if he'd have touched the wall, he wouldn't have stayed out. So we maybe see a replay in a minute, but he's just off to the side. No, it's okay. We just saw him at the end of the... Kaminsky's coming in, he's celebrating already. So with 3 minutes left, I wonder if Grintovich has come in too. Johnny hops over the wall to go and greet the team. Good job, says everybody. They're going to look at the monitor, so they'll just be watching the rest of the session to see. Perina's still out there and was only 3/10 off, so here is Pirina, but this looks... Perina's backed off, so I think Perina's done with 2 minutes 50 left.
I think nobody has the tires.
Yeah, this is the thing, isn't it?
Tony Davis is still on it.
Yeah, and he's down in P5 at the minute. Final corner for Davis. Rides the curb on the inside. Good exit.
Yeah, the timing and scoring shows Johnny Kaminsky's 6 laps, but first 3 were just cool-down laps, warm-up laps, and then, yeah, he just went for it maybe 2 laps, and that's it.
Davis did move up a position. Here's Falvera. So Falvera, Davis has gone in front of Falvera. Falvera will try and strike back here in the dying minutes of the session. Grinzovic, I think, is in the pits. So that would mean, and that might be why Kaminsky came in. If they know, obviously Grinzovic we saw aborted the lap after the mistake in turn 3. And if he was green, if he'd have got pole there, he'd have been stoked with that. I bet both teams were watching that.
Yeah, I think he was purple at least a 10th coming out of turn 2 before the entry into 3. And then he had the moment and had to abort the lap. So he had the pace in the car.
These are the fine margins, aren't they? A bit too deep there. So a few tenths lost on the entrance to turn 1. I suspect that will be Falvera done as well. Yeah, and he looks to me to have backed off. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's kind of on it, but with the mistake in turn 1, maybe not.
Yeah, seeing the first 2 qualifying sessions, I think 15 minutes here is maybe even too much.
Yeah.
The lap is very short, and everybody's just very monitored on the first 5 to 8 minutes where to post the best lap time. So in most of the track, the 15 minutes really serves big number of cars and so on. But here, the grip level is just 1 or 2 big laps.
Yeah.
And then even if you improve your driving, you don't have performance
anymore.
Yeah.
It won't be there.
And we've had weekends where qualifying has been really straightforward, and here a lot of mistakes.
But also a lot of mistakes in the top class.
Yeah,
so, you know,
that's
the
surprising.
Pirelli guys normally, yeah, again, this is how the ladder works. You come here and you're learning, you expect to make mistakes, that's Shell Am and Shell. And by the time you're in Pirelli and Pirelli Am, you expect to be the polished, not finished driver, but, you know, closer to that finished product. And these guys have struggled a bit because of the conditions. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the Shell drivers get on. They tend to be a little bit more inconsistent. Kaminsky doesn't look over the moon, but he has got the pole, and that is still 6 out of 7. I think I'd be pretty stoked with that. But Johnny, of course, has his aim set very high now.
Yeah, it's about the whole championship and just keep going race after race, qualifying after qualifying. For sure, he felt in the car that there was a lot more pace, either in him or the car together with the driver. So maybe not the highest cheers. He would have loved to see a little bit more margin, but pole position looks like a pole position is always a pole position.
Yeah, pole is pole, isn't it? But if you know there's more in the car, of course, the other thing is he thinking to himself, the settings aren't where I want them. You know, if it's still maybe a little trickier to drive than he would have liked, that means maybe there's a little bit more risk later on. But we're guessing here. Yeah, Johnny might have smiled 2 seconds after we moved the camera. So there he is. Yeah, okay, he's happier. He's happier. They can hear us down there.
Yeah, and the other thing is maybe you fine-tuned the car in the afternoon of yesterday when the temperatures were higher, and this morning was back to basics again. So maybe we should have done the changes we did in the afternoon. Maybe those work better in the race.
Yeah.
So just keep it cool, trust your skills, and go for the race, and I think you'll be fine.
Trust the process. Trust the process. They dial.
That's what we
for
do.
The right time.
Always.
That is always what we do. No mistakes, Tony.
Yes.
Tony Villander never makes any mistakes.
Oh yeah, I was once about to do one, but then I made a mistake.
Aye. Finish people. Okay, so that is qualifying done for Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am. You can see Coppa Shell and Coppa Shell Am will be up next in their 2 separate categories. Shell Am first of all. Melissa Kozira's car bottom left. And actually, there's a model car of Melissa Kozira's car in hospitality this weekend. We have a model car company that supports the series, and the drivers can have an absolutely stunning representation made. I forget the scale, but it's beautiful, and her car is on display in Casa Ferrari this weekend, and it looks amazing. Johnny Kaminsky is with Nina Jake Paul.
Well, 6 out of 7 poles this season, but your first ever pole here at Laguna Seca. Johnny, talk us through that lap.
I mean, it felt really good. This place has been super technical for me in the beginning of the week, and just working on the setup, working on everything, and the grip has just been up and down, especially we had a little rain in the morning yesterday. So, yeah, I'm super happy, and to throw on new tires on this place and put it all together is really a lot of fun. So,
what's going to be your biggest challenge for the race this afternoon?
I think we just gotta we know what to do, so just focusing on execution, and the tire fall off here has been a little tricky. So yeah.
Well, I'm happy to present you with your pole position award, Johnny. Congratulations.
He's going to need a bigger shelf. He's got a bunch of those. 6 out of 7 so far this year. And here is Kaminsky through the corkscrew, where we rode on board with him earlier on. So patient on the throttle. Look at the car. Wasn't so patient that time round. But yeah, it's a brilliant corner. We were up there yesterday, and the vast majority of the spectators do head up there at some point during the day. 1:23.016, Johnny Kaminsky with the pole. George Grinzovic the third. I think that is his best qualifying this year in P2. Perina P3, Davis, Falver and Cook. So it's a relatively small grid in Trofeo Pirelli, but of course they are the fastest drivers we have here. And with the tyre deg and the mistakes that we saw from a lot of drivers, I still think we're going to see great action in that category later on today. On then to the biggest category, which is Coppa Shell AM. Oh dear, Mike Crow already off. Now where that is, that might mean that we're going to end up with a red flag. Yes, we are. Okay, so that's a shame.
Yeah,
right
that's
at the start of the
already
session.
on the outlap from the pits.
Yeah. Well, we did say conditions were tricky.
Yeah, we need patience this morning.
We do.
Don't force the issue.
Patience is a virtue.
Yeah.
Look at Kaminsky, eh?
Yeah, Johnny's comments regarding the race, I think, was actually what we just said, is the things they learned in the practice. He's confident that for the race it will work a bit better. So this is pit floor, turn 4, between 3 and 4. Wow.
Well, the drivers will be disappointed to see that, of course, because at the minute the clock is running, Tony, where we've been saying everyone's got loads of time, it might be that they're not going to have anywhere nearly as much time here. The car doesn't look very difficult to recover to me, so I don't expect this to be a long delay. The question mark will be over a little bit over whether or not there was any damage to any of the track furniture. Safety first, always, of course. At least it's a recce lap for the drivers, but it's not really what you want this time in the morning. You get all fired up, and then you go out, you do a lap, and you have to come straight back in again. There's that release of adrenaline when you go, you just want to go.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, this is the biggest field of cars we have, and also how to get a clean lap now in this qualifying. Everything comes a bit more intense now with this red flag, and everybody's a little bit out of their game plan. So it's about track position, clear lap, and the right moment.
Jeffrey Nürnberg there, sitting P4 in the standings at the minute, and of course the winner last time at Kota in race number 2. What's that saying? Racing is live, everything else is just waiting. But unfortunately, a little bit more waiting to do this morning before they can go racing again. There's that fantastic Senna livery. Look at that, the other side of the car, the famous Nacional helmet. National hero in Brazil. Along with the footballers, of course, there is a soccer competition going on at the minute, which was on here yesterday. The USA beat Australia 2-0, and I met several American fans yesterday. We're very pleased with that. I think soccer is not that visible over here in the USA, but of course with them being joint hosts with Canada and Mexico, it's brilliant. Good to see the sport, which of course is huge in Europe, gaining a bit more popularity over here, and good to see the USA. I think they've had 2 wins from 2 now. So they'll be through to the next stage of the competition. Tony was watching Finland the other day. Of course I was watching England. Roy Carroll. Just a look around some of the 296 Challenge cars down in pit lane. They'll be waiting to go. There's one last little tyre pressure check. That is the advantage maybe of a rollout lap, is you can just do another little tyre pressure check with a bit more heat in the rims, but not much.
And now what the teams, the drivers and the engineers are talking how to join the fast lane, and when the track goes green, what position we take. We try to go in the lead of the whole field of cars, or we wait 30 seconds, we wait 1 minute. You need to play it very wisely now to have a clear run. For your qualifying lap. Traffic, it takes, it's very difficult to post a good lap time in traffic. You lose the clear air in front of the race car, you lose the front downforce, and you cannot just drive with your own rhythm. So clear lap here. There's not a big advantage with the slipstream. So good position on track for those couple of fast laps is what you need.
Helen Chu did the 2 rounds at Kota last time out, but wasn't here earlier on in the season. And everybody now getting themselves ready. Let helmets and hands devices going on. Gloves will be stretched onto each of the fingers, and you get yourself in the car and good to go. Quite sure what the squeaking is as we're climbing in there. I mean, you know. So the car is that we had off the track has been recovered, and we're hearing 3 minutes now from race control, which will get us back underway and out on course. There's Garrett at the front of pit lane there, the 140. Behind her, Bernard Gomez. And that looks like Steve Czech in the 124 behind there. The gold colour. There is the only part of the dry lake, say Laguna Seca, dry lake. There is just a little lake down there, which helps with the drainage. I was thinking when it rains here, it's almost a perfect bowl, isn't it, the track sits in. It's a bit surprising there isn't more water in here, but it can be a bit dry in California. But as you see, this area nice and green in the background. I'll be interested to see Sonoma in 4 weeks' time, because I've not been to Sonoma in the height of summer. We were there in springtime last time, and it's really green, and I understand it can be a very different track at a different time of year. And now the drivers head out down towards the first corner, so a long, long run out of the pits. There's Kozira. Kozira's got quite a few cars in front, and we traditionally have seen that Melissa likes a bit more space. We've seen her attack quite hard on the opening lap sometimes, Tony, to get herself into free air where she can go and chase after the pole.
Yeah, you need to have the game plan now, and to have a clear track in front of her would be very important for good qualifying. We mentioned already, overtaking very difficult in the race, so all the effort goes to a good qualifying. And like you mentioned, Melissa already working through that traffic. These drivers know pace-wise where everybody is, so also a good spot behind a driver that most likely is fighting with you for the top positions.
Yeah,
will be the rapid in front of you.
Yes.
to help you go faster.
And that's Danny Patel behind her now. Danny had a good qualifying last time, something like 7th. I forget exactly where it was at Coach, but certainly one of his best performances. I'm sure he'd love to convert that in terms of race pace, but he wouldn't mind following Melissa around, I know that much. Melissa's had 2 poles this year, one at each of the last 2 rounds. She had one at Sebring and one at Kota. And there's Steve Czech looking for a way on the inside. He exits and will try to, no way through this time. And is that Melissa in behind Steve? I think it is. Definitely going to need a bit more clear track than this. Steve Czech looks to the inside line, and luckily had been seen by the car in front. Melissa will now try and do the same, I'm sure, but with only 10 minutes remaining in this is much more like last year's qualifying sessions, Tony, which were only 12 minutes long anyway. With the little red flag, they've lost a couple of minutes. Now there's heavy traffic because there's 18 cars in this category, so 3 times the amount of cars that were in the Pirelli category. You've got to find some space, you've got to get your lap done, you've got to remember the tyre life as well. Are the tyres warm? Are you going to get bulked? There's a lot to do here. Melissa up the inside, so that's your championship leader, remember, as well. She's ahead of Fabian Sperman by nearly 30 points, 27 points ahead. Here's Fabian now. I met the rest of his family in hospitality this morning. His brother actually was at the egg station with me. Lovely guy. He says he comes to most of the races, but the family don't get to come to all of them. They were with them last time, I think, in Kota, and again this time here. Red light flashing on the back.
Yeah, Fabian has the rain light on.
Hey, what does he know about the weather?
Yeah, I met him at the credentials yesterday, and he's like, yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend, and also thought process was all ready for the race and opening lap. He said, I need to clear the opening lap and do a good run. I think he had an accident in Austin. He had some moments. He was in either in pole position or front row in Austin, but didn't have a good opening lap, turn 1 at Coda. So Fabian is looking for a good solid weekend this time.
He's got to get a good qualifying session though, hasn't he, before he does that. Steve Czech has moved up the table. Nürburgring goes quick. Is everybody now posting their first fast times? We don't know what the gap will be compared to Trofeo Pirelli. 1:23.0 and a 1:23.4 for Pirelli and Pirelli Am. So we would expect these drivers to go slower, but we will see.
Yeah, a little bit of thought process on the previous qualifying still.
Yeah.
Maybe less is more here. Maybe the drivers, even in Pirelli, they were trying a bit too much.
Interesting.
Maybe you just need to respect the fact that the grip level is low and give a little bit of breathing space for the tires and use the other areas to do a good lap time. So maybe just a little bit of overdriving, and that's why the gap between Pirelli Am and Pirelli was the tightest of the year.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Because if you think Pirelli Am normally slower here, it proved to be faster. So,
Yeah.
so same thing for our Shell Am drivers. Just hit your marks everywhere. What you talk with your engineer or the driver coach, and do the things you learned from Wednesday to today's qualifying, and don't try to do too much because most likely it won't work.
Feel it. Feel it. Wait
Feel
for
the flow.
Yeah. Feel the force. Yeah, you got to wait. Let the tyres come to you. Let the temperatures come to you, and especially you say with a couple of minutes off their session. 7:45 remaining. Here's Jamie Garrett, who's sitting in third at the minute, so she's crossed the line twice. Steve Czech now comes through. That's more like it. 1:27.9, 1:27.6. Melissa Kozira comes through 3/10 quicker than Steve Czech. So Kozira, who's had 2 poles at the last 2 events. Remember, double headers though, so she's done both of them at each event, but 1 at each event. And he's certainly looking very, very strong this year, Melissa. They do a vlog after each event as well. She went to Le Mans, but I think they had some incidents there with red flags. So they didn't get loads of running during the race, but certainly enjoyed it. They were saying they'd have a better idea of what to expect if they went there again. Big, long track to learn. So there is your pole sitter. Melissa Kozira at the moment, 1:27.6, the target time, but keep an eye on that ladder on the left-hand side because there are cars crossing the start-finish line all the while.
Yeah, not a good position round for Melissa. She's in traffic. 6 minutes to go.
Vartunian just moved up into P3.
She's losing time.
Yeah, she is. This is Steve Czech in front of her. She's going to need to get past Steve if she wants. Steve, of course, is sitting in P3, but she wants to, doesn't she?
Because now the thing is either back off, leave
Yeah.
the space, or go for it. And now she's going to lose around the lap.
Yeah, now also compromised in turn 11 on the way in, so you're losing exit speed too. So Melissa might make a move here in turn 1. She's dropped down to P4 overall, and Tim Tweet has just absolutely smashed the clocks with a 1:25.9. She looks to the inside line, but it's a tightening turn 1. I think you're right, Tony. I think I think now back off and get yourself some space. Here is Tim Tweet with the Senna livery on the car. And Beffello moves up into P2. Sperman moves up into P3. Kozira is 4th.
Whoa!
Fabian Sperman.
Take a little bit more exit curb and you're off.
Yeah.
There was no space.
No Sperman. There's no spare curb.
No space left there. Whoa, that was on the edge, exit of 6.
Is that where
Mitchell Green
Mitchell
corner,
Green went
yeah.
off earlier? Yeah. Sideways all the way down the barrier. Go on, Mitchell. Tim tweets Passato into P2. Befella Sperman says Passato only 0.2 off now.
Let's see if Fabian's lap. He was
It's a big push.
on the limit in 6. He was a little bit off the sequence, off the racing line in corkscrew, but let's see the lap time.
Over the line, Sperman, where does he go? Stays where he is, 0.6, so
Yeah, 27.2, so it's a 6/10 slower than his best.
And that's what you were saying about the Pirelli drivers, is don't overdrive, just, take your time. Easier
Now
said than
Melissa
done.
has cleared the traffic or either backed off.
Yeah, I wonder where.
So-
Well, let's see if Steve Czech crosses the line in front of her. She's bought,
Yes.
Yeah, he has.
So she has a couple of seconds of margin now.
So she's bought a bit of time.
Yeah, this is the lap.
Okay,
Go,
so
Melissa.
Kozira, has got to go here. 1.9 off, sitting down in P7. That is not where she'll want to be. Gets into the second apex. Tony Villander.
Yeah, nice racing line. Little bit of hesitation maybe with the throttle, but still a good line through turn 2.
Lance Corley sitting in P8, just behind Kozira, who you're looking at now.
Yeah, Lance was also looking forward to qualifying. He said, not really sure what to expect. He has a huge number of Ferrari Challenge starts. I think one of them, maybe in Austin we said 111 starts
Yeah,
or something.
it was a lot.
Yeah, so he's on the top of overall starts in Ferrari Challenge.
And he moves up to P3.
Good performance.
So, yeah, Corley up 5 places here. Kozira, the championship leader, is at the minute facing a similar situation to Mitchell Green and Jan Bernier. So Melissa Kozira, let's see if we can follow her down to the finish now. It's good through the corkscrew. She's patient. She gets to that second apex. And now she comes down into the left-hander, which is turn 9, Rainey curve. Wayne Rainey, of course, the famous motorcyclist. What's happened over on the right-hand side? Here she is. I thought somebody
I
had
don't
gone
know
off for a
how
second.
much he has catched.
Steve Czech.
Yeah, in front of her. Let's see.
Into the last corner. Did she give up any time or not? No.
It's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay, so Czech will cross the line, give us an idea of whether he... Yeah, Czech goes up to P3, so Kozira moves up.
Good job.
P2, 0.3 of a second off, so she's got enough time for another one. I might go for one more here, Tony.
Yeah.
Front row's
keep
where
going.
you want to be, but still have a crack at Tim Dweet's time.
When you post your fastest lap time, keep going the next lap. See the predicted. If it's purple, keep going. Keep going until you have the grip.
There's another pop and bang, so people are hitting the limiter, aren't they, in the exit of 3? It must be that tricky point where you feel like you're between gears.
Yeah.
High in the RPM, maybe in third. We saw.
Now she's closing.
Yeah, she could get in trouble here at the end of the lap if she closes Steve Czech down. But Czech, to be fair, is in P5 and was only 8/10 slower than her on the previous lap. So as long as he continues to push, she might just have enough headroom here.
Yeah, this might work. Oh, good run, turn 6, up the hill. This is difficult part, breaking into corkscrew. So you point the nose to the right-hand side. She's really closing.
Yeah, she's on to Czech here. Czech calls it. Oh, she's sideways in the middle of the corkscrew, but holds on to it. So Melissa Kozira with a big old push here. Will she abort the lap or continue? She's sitting in P2 at the moment in the timing standings, but she is, of course, the championship leader. I wonder if she's rolled off here. It's hard to tell from the drone shots.
I think she has.
So I think maybe she's bailed on the lap. Yeah, she's been caught quickly. So Kozira, we think, has bailed. Is she going to go for one more? She is, and what's she done? Left time to Steve Czech. She's left a bit of a gap. She's closer than she was before. Yeah, I don't think she'll improve on this one.
She lost time in corkscrew. She had the sideways moment, and she was really closing the whole lap. Oh, a lot of curb. 117.
Yeah, she did well to hold on to it, to be fair. Yeah, she did bail big time in the end.
Yeah, a lot of curb in the corkscrew.
Jeffrey Keel is sitting in 16th, 5.5 off the pace. That's Jeffrey now in front of you, with the stripe to the right-hand side of the hood in the 117. A lot of red Ferraris. I mean, I don't know what it is about Ferrari and red, but it seems to be a popular colour. Flashing lights over the start-finish line. White flag, I think, being shown to a couple of people there, because this could be the last flyer. Keel gives up the spot down into turn 1. Here comes Kozira, so this is Kozira again in the corkscrew. So is she going to get it right this time? No, sideways again, but not as badly as last time.
Yeah, she lost the entry a bit. She understeered a bit wide, so she was off the racing line coming down the hill.
I must say P2 here on the outside is tricky, because you got that left kink after the rolling start, which puts you on the back foot already. You're on the outside line.
But it's all about the sequence of corner. You just need to be inside for 3.
Yeah, well, if you can stay there through turn 2, which is so long and tight. Kozira probably a lot. Well, she got one more lap to go, but it's not enough. It's 25.6, so she's only 2/10 off. Will she go for one more?
Yeah, she did her best, I think, now. No, she did not.
Yeah, 2/10 off, 25.4. So she's crossed the line with 20 seconds to go. She could go one more lap here. I think it looks like she might be.
Yeah.
She's still pushing here at the moment. Czech still in front of her. Oh, it's a shame, isn't it? Because to me, the most aggressive, the best lap was the one where it went wrong. Yeah. And of course, that's the margins. But where it went wrong in the corkscrew was the lap I thought she might have taken the pole.
Let's see now.
The checkered flag is out, so this is the last chance saloon.
Another 2 cars.
It's here. She closed on Czech the most in the run into the corkscrew, but then dropped it on the brakes. So was she too late? There's one car moving to the right. It's Jamie Garrett. Garrett's balked her.
Yeah.
Garrett's balked her. They shared the podium together, and they're great mates. I believe they're actually neighbours, but unfortunately, that's going to compromise the lap, and I think that's game over.
Done.
That's the way it goes.
But front row, if the front row stays, that's good.
Yeah, not a lot Jamie could have done about that up there. You say it's blind, she'd be looking for her reference points in, and she's off the throttle on her way back towards the pits. This is Bernard Gomez. Looking for the pit indicator for Co-Zero. Is she going to take the checker? She takes the checker and doesn't improve as we thought, 1:27.5, so 2.1 off in the end. She will have lifted towards the end of that. So Tim Dweet is your pole sitter here in Coppa Shell Am. Good job. 0.3 in the end to Co-Zero, then 0.7 back to Bufella and a second back to Sposato. So Dweet and Co-Zero really with significant pace advantage over those top two drivers, but they will want to make sure they don't make any mistakes in the start, because we've seen that it is tricky to pass here. Great job, say the engineers from Conquest. Double thumbs up. Good stuff, pole position. One more category of qualifying still to come. Coppa Shell is up next. So one of our 4 tiers of Ferrari Challenge North America. Brilliant series in its 4th weekend here in 2026. We came to Laguna Seca later in the year last year, and we're coming back to Sonoma next, which was round 1 last year. So again, will the track conditions be tricky there before Road America and then Circuit Barcelona, Catalunya? This seems like a very quick opportunity where we might be able to talk about Lewis Hamilton, Tony, and Ferrari. Brilliant result for him. Tim Dweet. Let's do Dweet first. Dweet with Senna, another F1 legend on the side of his car, taking the pole position from Melissa Co-Zero. Did a great job, Melissa. She was down in P8 at one point, and that would have been rough as the championship leader, but she fought her way back to row number 1. Bufella and Sposato, row 2. Garrett and Czech, row 3. Corley and Roberts on row 4. Lots of cars in this one. Sperman, Vartugian, Nürnberg, Hummel, Chu, Patel and Gomez. Fabian Sperman, P9, yeah, so that's a little way down. Then it's Kiel, Crow and Williams for the top 18, although Crow and Williams, we saw Crow actually, of course, went off on his out lap, we think maybe in turn 1 or turn 2, so that was not ideal. Unless he ran up the back of someone on the brakes, because the damage was across the car. But normally, if that was, well, we don't know. We haven't seen. Every Czech heading back into his pits. Co-Zero coming this way. Nina Jade is with our pole sitter Tim Dweet now.
Tim, pole position. I saw you sit in your car until the result was confirmed. What was going through your mind?
Hopefully nobody goes any faster. That's exactly what was going through my mind. But we got out, got lucky. We had a good gap. My coach gave us a good gap, and so we were able to go pretty quick early on and put a couple of laps down, and then just come in. And we felt good enough that hopefully it would hold, and thankfully it did.
You've got the fast-starting Melissa Co-Zero right behind you. How do you plan on keeping her behind you, Tim?
Oh, I hope I just keep on go fast. That's it. She's very fast, so she always puts a lot of pressure, and I think that's good. We kind of try to push each other, so it's a win-win for both of us.
Well, congratulations. Good luck later.
Thank you.
There we are. Very happy with this result. He said, I'm just hoping nobody goes faster. I get that. And say there is the car with the legendary Senna livery on it. So yeah, quickly, while we have time, Hamilton in Barcelona, great for Ferrari.
Yeah, very important result for Ferrari, but also for Lewis. Last year he was struggling a lot. It takes time. When you go into a new team in F1, it's not all about the driver itself. You need to be comfortable. The car needs to be built around you. And this is a good example of our sport that, first of all, never give up. Even if you are 7 times world champion, it takes time.
Yeah.
And if the effort is there continuously, the results will come. And the thing is, Barcelona is a particular racetrack, pretty difficult to draw right conclusions for the rest of the championship.
Yeah, of course.
But at least at this point, he has more than a double of his points compared to last year. So he's on a different speed, different level this year.
He has momentum too, doesn't he? I think belief as well. I saw some lovely quotes. I'm British, so of course I'm a bit of a Lewis fan, but I think he's a great role model to kids, to be, underrepresented people. He runs a number of programs to help minorities get more into motorsport. He had same with his team that he ran in I think it was Extreme E, sorry, as it was. He had a team there. I just think he's great for the sport. He's great for the UK. And one of the fans said to remember who you are, and it was lovely to see the quotes where he said, I remembered. So yeah, I'm fascinated. The onboard lap that we saw from qualifying, where they compared him to George Russell, was incredible. The entry speed was brilliant. So the Ferrari chassis is great, isn't it? They've got upgrades coming as well.
Yeah, but Lewis, I think, is in the phase of his career. So he's there with Valentino Rossi, Sebastian Loeb, Sebastian Ogier. So when you win world championships and when you are already legend in sport, what I respect the most is they never give up.
Yeah.
They don't have that full stomach feeling that you start losing bits every little bit everywhere.
Yeah.
Instead, he's impressive at his age, and the drive is still there. So
19 years a winner in F1. That's longer than most drivers' F1
so
careers.
for me, that is the biggest thing.
It's incredible.
That is for me. That is the biggest thing. To be on top 1 year, 2 years, leave the sport happens often. When you do a career like this, you are a legend in sport.
Absolutely. So some of these guys will be looking to become legends. They're in Coppa Shell, so they're a little way off Lewis Hamilton at the minute. They'd accept that themselves, but they are racing for the same brand, the wonderful Ferrari, of course. The prancing horse. There's the hill. Look at that. The entry to it. You've got the right king over the crest. You're coming up the hill. You can't even see where you're going on the way in. Then you come over the crest. The car's light. You get on the brakes. You're trying to find the apex on. It's just such a technical corner, and I say so much elevation change here. Fantastic circuit. You look at Andrew Parker with the ice creams on the car. We're always a big admirers of this, particularly if the weather's hot. So it's not quite ice cream weather, but I could manage one if one was presented to me right now. Charlie Menard, who a good friend of mine, Damia, is one of his engineers. Charlie at the minute is at the top of the top of the timing sheets.
Yeah, we met Orsini yesterday.
Yes, we did.
In Casa Ferrari as well.
I met his kid. I met Henry this morning. So his little boy is here. He's 4 years old. And so we can tell this. It's a lovely story, isn't it? So Kevin came and introduced himself to us, which we're always grateful for, because we don't know all the drivers. And when they're in their, not in their race suits, not in their race cars, it's hard to pick them out. So he came in and said, "Hi, I'm Kevin Orsini." He said, "I am Lightning McQueen." So Lightning McQueen is the red car from the Cars movie. Now his son Henry is a massive fan of Lightning McQueen. So they had the idea at the start of the year, but they didn't want to reveal it until Henry could be at the race. So they revealed it to him, and apparently, as a 4-year-old, he was very confused. So they had the eyes on the windscreen and everything, and he was like, "So, Dad, is Lightning McQueen driving you round?" And he's like, "Well, that's Dad's car." But it's lovely. And I met him this morning with his little rucksack on, and his mum was there, and she said, "Show him what's in your bag." And he had colouring in books, and he had a Lightning McQueen in there. And
Beautiful.
also, Jack as well, that I met this morning. So it was great to meet them in hospitality. And he goes, Jack said, he goes, "You're the announcer." And I said, "Kevin Orsini up the inside." And they laughed. So hello to the Orsinis, who I know are here in Casa this morning, and it was lovely to meet you all. Very cool indeed. It's a nice family atmosphere, isn't it, here? And Casa is a great place to spend the weekend. They're on the outside of Turn 3, so they've got a brilliant view of the action here this weekend. Kevin Orsini now, here he is. Without the eyes on the screen, it'd be pretty tough for Lightning McQueen to see, Kevin to see. Maybe we should just call him Lightning McQueen for the whole race. I think the kids would like that, wouldn't we?
Back to qualifying. I would say the level in Shell is been very strong this year.
Yes.
And Michael Owens, early in the season, he looked like to be the driver, the reference point of all the drivers. But then after that, we've seen several drivers really picking up their pace and just taking their driving to another level. So this has been a very interesting category throughout the season so far.
Absolutely. The 4 categories, I'd say there's good depth. There's been great competition, though there isn't so much depth in Pirelli this year, right at the very top. I think you said Dylan Medler was at Le Mans last weekend, the winner of this series 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Massimo Perina as well moved on after winning last year. Did a brilliant job last year, and I have to say, it's looking at a similar level, if not more dominance this year for Johnny Kaminsky.
Yeah, and Dylan Medler and Ale Balzan, I think this weekend they are racing in Italian GT.
Cool.
And if I understood correctly, they are on pole.
Brilliant, okay.
So Dylan is doing also... He was at Le Mans with the challenge car, but he's also racing with the 296 GT3. So this is what Ferrari wants, and this is what we have ready for all of our drivers. We have Club Challenge, we have Club GT,
Yeah.
and then we from Ferrari Challenge itself, very important for us, but then we have all the ladders to climb in the endurance racing, sprint racing in GT3. We have the 499P Modificata program, so we have everything, Formula One cars and the full racing program around the world that basically 296s are racing every weekend throughout the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in the winter, up on ice.
Yeah, no break.
Yeah,
no break.
yeah, no break, no rest for the wicked. Yeah, it's great as a brand, the full ladder of opportunity to move up. And I think as well, Tony, where the 296 is so fast, you know, seeing Rosser and Orsini, his timing splits on screen at the moment. Menard's still in P1, but I think some time, 124.1 actually. He's only, what's that, only 1.1 off the back.
Yeah, Johnny did 23.0. Pirelli Am with Matthews did 23.4.
25.1 for Shell Am. So
Yeah.
that's about right. So Menard here has actually set a really good time with the halfway point in the session. Whittle.
Yeah, he has a
Moves
big
to
gap as
P2.
well. He's half a second ahead of the other drivers.
Whittle has just triggered the timing line and was moved up into P2. Rosser and Orsini. Kevin Orsini in Lightning McQueen in P4. Orsini third in the standings at the minute. Whittle second in the standings. Blake Rosser is leading the standings. He was moved up from the AM category after a dominant first weekend at Thermal. They were like, you know what, that's a bit too quick. You can go up a category. And he's already immediately at the front of Coppa Shell. So we'll probably expect to see him in Pirelli AM next year. I think that's the other thing, is that everybody wants to see progress, and let's be honest, everybody wants, we like a battle. We want to fight for a podium. And if you spend your whole life in a one-make series where you're always P13, P14, you might be making progress, P11, but it doesn't feel so good if you're not in the championship fight. And you want that emotional roller coaster of trying to string it together through the year to take a series win. And you could do that 4 times here in Ferrari Challenge, moving up through the categories, which must be fun for the drivers. It just adds another element to it. Oh yeah, not just getting quicker, but having a championship fight and understanding the emotions involved in that.
Yeah, Ferrari have the tools to evaluate our drivers, to see the skill level, the speed, and this way they balance the different categories to match the experience our drivers have and also the speed in the races. If you are suddenly very quick in your category and way ahead of your competition, then very easily you get the call. It's time to move up a category. So we've seen that during the season.
Lightning McQueen moves to the inside line, makes the pass, but I think probably seen just a little bit too late in the mirrors there. So maybe we lost some time.
Yeah,
it was Menard, was it?
Menard, yeah.
So it was Menard.
Yeah, even this is a tricky thing as well. Once you have posted your fastest lap time, stay out of the way.
Yeah.
Don't force the issues with the stewards or the race director that if you're blocking other drivers. This is what we see often in F1 is what surprises me. If our best drivers in the world, why can't they stay off the racing line or don't block the other driver? Because then you risk a grid penalty. Here the same thing. You posted your the fastest lap time of the qualifying. Stay away of the other drivers. Don't force the issue.
Yeah.
Don't get yourself in trouble.
Don't risk it.
Yeah.
Don't risk it. You're looking at Roy Carroll, who's 5th in the timing at the minute, 0.7 off. In the standings, though, down in P15, but hasn't done all the races. A couple of decent results in Sebring. He was 2 times P6 in Sebring. So Orsini in 4th, but with the Lightning McQueen colour car now again with a bit of clear track in front of him. Here's Lewis Flory. Blue rims on the car, so very cool. I do like it when people go for the random coloured rims. We've got a few people with very cool wheels here. Lewis is in P7, or he was, but Owens has just moved up to P6. Michael Owens is 5th in the standings. No wins this year yet. A couple of P4s. There's that pop and crackle again that we're picking up just nicely. Joel Rose, 7th at the moment, about to cross the timing line. It's up just before that shadow. There's the white line. Stays in 7th. tricky braking zone into one with downhill and the rotation to the left at the same time. Mike Luley in the pits and some 6 seconds off. Here comes Lightning McQueen, Kevin Orsini. Orsini with red wheels as well to match up for the full Lightning McQueen experience. Oh, a couple of wheels on the dust on the outside line. What can Orsini do here? Currently fourth, comes over the start-finish line and stays in fourth, 0.7 back. But will be being fully cheered, as I say, by the family who'll be able to see him as he comes around the very next corner here. Out from turn 2, there it is, and across now to the left-hand side of the track to turn into turn 3 in front of Casa Ferrari. 1 minute 20 remaining here. Remember, there'll be another qualifying session roughly the same time tomorrow morning. Double header weekend for Ferrari Challenge North America every weekend. Somebody else getting a bit deep on the brakes up in the corkscrew. Joel Rose, the 126. Great drone shots there, looking down at the paddocks where everything's so carefully organised and so beautifully presented by the teams here. Oh, sideways. Go on, Joel. That's what we want to see. That's what I want to see anyway. It's not good for lap times, but it's great for photos.
Yeah, he'll love the sideways.
Yeah, exactly. Always.
4-wheel drive and sideways.
Yeah, it's got always sideways. In the gravel, Mitchell Green style, I liked it. Not the bit where he went off in the end, the bit where he managed to keep it out the wall. But he's a trier, Mitchell, and I like that as well.
Yeah, Menard's lap time was impressive. It's
Yeah.
really...
Early in the session, no one's got
early
near
in
it.
the session, happened in the other qualifying sessions as well. That early posted lap time stayed throughout the qualifying. And it's just confirming that when you hit everything perfect, the timing with your tires, and you have a good clear lap, others are struggling to match it.
This is Chuck Whittle, but I think Whittle's rolled off and he's going in the pits. He is, so Chuck Whittle was the man who might have challenged. He was just under half a second behind Menard. But unless somebody's doing some magical flyer out there right now, Carroll, Parker and Dayton did quick laps, but I don't think they're in a position to challenge that one from Menard. So Charlie Menard will take the pole. Double winner last time out at Kota. And this is exactly what we were talking about. In fact, he joined us in Sebring. Scored 30 points twice there. So he was third twice in Sebring, first twice in Kota. Hasn't had a pole so far this year. So Menard has taken the pole and is on some great momentum. It's fitting, though, that it's Lightning McQueen, isn't it, who sees out the session for us. And indeed the end of qualifying today on Saturday. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I hope the family have enjoyed watching Kevin Orsini's qualifying here in Lightning McQueen. He says, you don't know what to do at the end of the season. Oh, do you know what I think they should do? I think they should keep the livery and just go with it, you know?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, there is Casa Ferrari. Those people down there enjoying a fantastic view and potentially a few adult beverages if they fancy it. You know,
Yeah, that's
fruit
best
juices
view
available.
into turn 3.
It's great, isn't it?
And that's great place to be at the start of our races.
Nina Jade Paul is with our pole sitter. Pole for the first time this year, but off the back of a double win. Big momentum. Charlie Menard.
Yes, first win in Kota, but first pole position, Charlie. Congratulations. How was that? You said it was fun.
Yeah, that was a really, really fun lap. The track is phenomenal right now. We had a plan, we executed our plan, and it went really well.
And then what's your plan for the race later?
You know, we've been some long runs. I think the track's going to get a little greasy. I think it's going to get hot and survive. You know, I race with really good racers. I think we're going to have a heck of a show.
Well, congratulations, Charlie. Here is your pole position award. Enjoy that.
Nice one for Charlie Menard. Pole position. All smiles. Good job. This was him on the brakes down into the final corner and just got it all done early doors. There's a red hot chili pepper there. Look on the right on the tail of the rear bumper. I like that. Menard with the pole. Double winner last time out. Pole here. He's got real momentum, having missed those first 2 rounds. So Chuck Whittle P2. Whittle as well is second in the standings, remember, and Blake Rosser, who's P3, is your current championship leader. You've then got Orsini, Carroll, Owens, Rose and Lewis Flory down to P8. And then Andrew Parker, Ryan Dayton, Javier Rodriguez Borgio, and Mike Luley rounding out the cars in Coppa Shell. All right, thank you very much for joining us this morning, guys. We will be back later on. Look at that stunning backdrop. That's down in Monterey and Carmel. It's a beautiful location for a racetrack, and we're expecting some beautiful racing this afternoon. Thanks to Nina J. Paul down in the paddock. Tony Verlander alongside me, Andrew Coley. Join us at 13:25 Pacific time this afternoon, where you can see all the action from Coppa Shell and Trofeo Pirelli for Ferrari Challenge North America.